Hey everybody, you are now listening to part one with Storme on When Models Talk. Hey everybody, it's Catrice Bailey from When Models Talk. And today we're going to have an amazing live. This is episode 24. Episode 24 of When Models Talk. I am so excited. I am happy to have my guest on this today. And before I get into all of that, my guest comes on, let me let you guys know where you can find When Models Talk. Okay, so not only can you find the show, the podcast, on Instagram, which is at Real K Bailey, but you can also find it at Models Like Me Consulting Agency, that Instagram as well. Or just type in Models Like Me. Also, you can find the podcast on Spotify, Anchor, Pocket Cast, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Breaker, Podcast, and Radiocast. Also, the YouTube at Models Like Me, Instagram, Models Like Me, and Facebook, Catrice Bailey. Hey, Storme. Okay, so now that you know where you can find When Models Talk, now we're going to get our guests going. Hey, Des. All right, so let me add my guest on in. Hey.
What's good? What's good, beautiful? How you doing?
How's it going?
What's up? It's going. Try to get it
Good.
together.
You know it is. It's going.
How you
I
doing?
see you since in person.
In person, yeah.
It's been some time. See, I can see you on Saturday Night Zooms now. I can see you on
Yes.
that.
Yo, let me tell you. We up there zooming. You see, I'm up there trying to get my light right again.
Let me back my camera up just a little bit. I don't like it on my face like that. Wait a minute, I see that far.
Okay. Why not? You look good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out here struggling trying to pull a little something together.
Yes, it's called Two Lamps Until I Get My Ring Light.
I know that's right. And I'm the same way. I'm very how they say, work smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
I'm very let me see, here we go. Like trying to get rid of the shadows. It's like right here. Bang.
Yeah.
It almost looked right.
Okay, so let's get started. Well, first I want to introduce. Well, no, you know what? I'm not introducing you because you introduce yourself so well.
Hi, I'm TC.
I'll tag on. I like add on, but you can introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm TC.
Yeah, right.
Okay, you like our single on Saturday night introduction.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hold on. Let me get it together. What's going on, family? It's TC Provo, BKA, your big homie Storme Weathers, and I am an everyday Renaissance fella, actor, director, producer, MC, spoken word artist. You know how we do. We just out here get it. If I can't do it, baby, it probably can't be done. Yeah?
All right now. Yes. Because I'm sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm trying to figure out how to do my own intro.
I told you I could work with you on that because you're dope in your own right, and there's no reason why you should not have a very smooth, deliberate, thorough introduction. You just be hitting the modest joint.
Yes.
She's Bailey, mother of three, model, consultant, models. I'm like, she's one of the dopest people I know.
Thank you.
We gonna work on that.
We gonna have to work on that for real because I'm trying to make some things happen, but I need my tagline to be on point.
Okay. Yeah. And you definitely have a dope tagline just in these few years of knowing you. Just watching what you put together and how you reached out and encompassed and brought in so many other people to opportunities. And that's a big deal for me. It's good if you're good, but you become great when you make other people great. So It's my pleasure sitting back and being associated with you and watching you doing what you're doing and all the good things that's coming from it and all the people that you're helping
Yeah.
to find their mark and find a niche for themselves. So
Yeah.
kudos to you. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Very
You
well.
know, let's get these topics started.
Yeah, because we I don't know how long you talked to anybody else, but we was rolling.
Yes, yes,
We was rolling. We were definitely
yes,
rolling.
for a couple hours.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
And plus, I
I
really
hope
want to.
it was insightful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the topics
Yes.
for today are acting, building relationships and opportunities, show format, on the stoop with Storming in 60 seconds. Did I say that right?
So I'm at 60 seconds. Yes.
Okay, got it. And the jewels of dating.
Jules of
So
dating.
I'm excited about all of it.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't get nervous often. I don't get nervous often, but I'm tripping because as happy and as ready as we were to get this thing started,
Yeah.
I was sitting there like, "Damn, what background am I gonna use?" And I was like, Instagram Live.
Yes.
So I had my mind all set up for a Zoom for a
Again.
Zoom. So I
You
had which
know
background
what?
I had which promo shot I was going to use for my background, which headshot I was going to use, and I was like, ain't none of that stuff on the gram. Okay, all
Nope.
right, all right.
And I'm
It's
still
just
learning,
her pretty.
and I'm still trying to figure out the whole Zoom thing too, because I want to start having like in a sense a panel discussion, especially if there's a particular topic that we need to definitely talk about. And
Gotcha,
I want to bring back some old guests too in the future and have everybody have like a discussion. People that may have had similar or differences when it comes
gotcha.
to certain things.
Okay,
So it's gonna be good. I'm working on my next year. I'm
I
working
know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be good.
Yes.
I know it. I know it.
So
All right, let's go. Hmm.
my first question to you is, how did you get into acting?
Um,
Because you are awesome at acting. When I say, let me just go in real quick. First
hmm.
of all, I watched all the videos you sent me, and it's so
Okay,
it's he's such a creative person where he can play these different roles, which is crazy. Because one minute he can play a pastor, the next minute he can play a daggone person that like a pedophile. The next minute he can play like the nice guy. Then he can play the drug dealer. Like the list goes on and on with the characters and the type of like the range that you have when it comes to being an actor. And I
thank
think
you.
that's amazing. I think I'm one of those people that like get like all right, all with people that have so many great talents to them. Like, how do you do that? Yes.
it's it's for one. I'm gonna take something that one of my nephews said. We did an
Mm-hmm.
interview for another project that we were both on. He made a very very profound point. So I'm referencing uh,
Mm-hmm.
Tyree Evans, my nephew, Dr. Tyree Evans. He
Mm-hmm.
says we're always acting when we're growing up. When you grow up where
Mm-hmm.
we grew up, you're always acting. Based on the stimulus around you, the catalyst of what's going on, based on the circumstances that you're dealing with. Um, we're always acting. When you're poor, you go to school and act like you're not. When you're hungry, you go to school or go out the house and act
Mm-hmm.
like you're not. When you're in the street, you pretend to be tough and you're not. You're scared, but you show that you're not. So we're always pretending when you're from where we're from. There's just some people that went through a process of honing their craft.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am started off just growing up at 2 years old, little guy having my own television with that necessarily wasn't the norm. Like you see little children now, they got cell phones, tablets,
Everything.
expensive phones and everything. They have everything right there. Well, that was me, at 2 years old, watching television and have my own TV, and I'm watching the Jackson Five, Fat Albert, the Osmonds, and things like that. Different shows, Cara Burnett, Lucille Ball,
Mm-hmm.
um, different shows that were on then, and eventually getting to Flip Wilson and Richard Pryor, and seeing
Mm-hmm.
characters that people that look like me or like my father, because my father's darker than me, so I had to go with the dark skinned people. Um, because people talk a lot of stuff about dark skinned folks and light skinnedism on TV
Yeah.
now. They don't know all that was on TV was dark skinned folks back in the day. So
Wow.
let's keep it a bean. TV started with a lot of dark skinned people on television. Sidney Poitier,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, Flip Wilson, Richard Pryor. It was a lot of Diane Carroll, a lot of brown skinned folks,
Yeah.
Foxy brown skinned folks on TV before we started
Yes.
getting into this what I call self loathing and self hate. But
Mm.
um, that was just where it started for me, learning TV episodes, The Jeffersons and Sanford and
Mm-hmm.
Son. Even I'm gonna even go there. Back in the day, not realizing the symbolism then, but being entertained because it was a television show. The Dukes of Hazzard, watching two
Mm-hmm.
white guys driving around in the deep South with a Confederate flag on their car, named after a general that wanted to keep slavery in
Mm-hmm.
place. But at the same time, just learning their dialogue, seeing the show, and
Mm-hmm.
watching the show again and almost knowing it word for word.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the Jackson Five, watching TV show and the cartoon and learning the dance moves and the songs and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
even from my own family, I'm from a family of entertainers. My father's a singer, my mother was a dancer, my stepmom, who I refer to as my mom,
Mm-hmm.
she was a singer. So,
Oh,
and my brothers, sisters, nephews, nieces, everybody has some talent.
some talent.
They might not always use it, but
Yeah.
they have it. They have it. It's from a talented family.
Wow. Well, that's good because not only do you just like getting into music, not only do you're an actor, but you also can sing, you can rap, you can do a lot of things now.
What what I tell folks is when they, a lot of people try to um, pigeonhole what folks like me do, because I'm not the only one. Is I tell them, I said, I'm an entertainer, I'm a performer. I can do. If there's a stage and there's a microphone,
Mm-hmm.
I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't do it, I'm gonna get good enough to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, and that's coming from somebody that when I was younger used to be stage shy. I had stage fright
Oh wow.
when I was younger. I used to walk around the house, and again, I had that TV. I learned those songs. I could
Mm-hmm.
walk around the house singing. But then as soon as my dad said, "Hey, come on and sing, come on, sing for everybody." Remember back when Eddie Murphy, did Delirious, and he had the segment where he
Uh-huh.
put the children in front of everybody, start telling the jokes, and then
Yeah, I
I
remember.
run off, I run off crying. I would run off crying. That was
Oh.
crazy, but I think I don't know what it was, but I think it about I don't know, I think about 6 years old,
Mm-hmm.
first grade, second
Mm-hmm.
grade, second grade. It was like it was a play that they was doing in school.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to have parts, and man, listen, I did it. I think I was a tree or something, but I was swinging this, swaying this tree, boy, when we sang, and man, listen, it was all that. What
So.
I appreciate though was how my father always kept me grounded,
Mm-hmm.
because it started getting to a place where I started getting complimented. I started getting
Mm-hmm.
told um, that I was good at what I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
and not realizing it, then realizing it once I got older. He always kept me grounded by telling me, you're not that good. You're not that
You said
good.
you're not that.
This is coming from a man with three top ten records, two gold albums,
Wow.
you know, and I've grown up and been around studios with some of Philadelphia's greatest artists,
Mm-hmm.
some Motown artists, but these were people that I grew up around, so I wasn't starstruck because I saw them. They were like uncles and aunties and what have you. But when I got older, and it's, it takes experience when you get older and realize who you was sitting in a room with Phyllis
Yeah.
Hyman. You was sitting in a room with the Dovells. You was sitting around in a building with Chubby Checker, with Gamble and Huff. And these people, when I talk to them as an adult and I mention who I am, and they look at me and they say, yeah, that is Rothstein's son. So, shout out to my OG, my father, for, keeping me grounded.
Yeah.
And there's a story about that later when we get into to another part of the talent thing. Oh yeah, my father, he broke me down on one. Broke me down.
Well, you know what? I think it's amazing, and it's great that it's always great to have someone in your life that does keep you grounded. Because sometimes you can think that you're here, and you're really not. Like your head can really get big, and you be like, maybe even to the point where you think you made it, and they like, no.
Ooh, talk to him.
You got things that you still got a lot to work on, and even now, I think that some people have that same, like some people deal with that too, until somebody actually does shut them down. Even it does, and sometimes it takes a big person to actually be able to receive that, to say, you know what, maybe.
When I say how when I say how the way he said it, I did this song and I thought I was the man. He was like, yeah, well, you needed to do this, you needed to do that. You wasn't breathing, you didn't do this. I was like, damn, dog. Everybody else was like, I killed it. You didn't kill it. You know what I mean? But again, it took a while. It was when I got older, when I asked, he said, no, you were doing good. He said, but I could not let you be satisfied and that you couldn't do better. He said,
that's
I thought
right there.
I let you be satisfied and did not think that you could not do better.
That's the key right
there.
Somebody
out there, he said, it's because there's someone out there that's waiting for you to be caught slipping or waiting for you to be lazy so they can outwork you. He said, I never wanted to get outworked.
And Daddy, no, that's why he got all the accolades, because he been there and done that.
Been there, done that. Been there, done that. Done that
that's great.
A lot. Done it a lot.
And Des Brown says, can a parent instill humility and drive without putting their children down? How would you respond to that?
Yeah, because the difference is the level of knowledge and experience. Like now, I'm not sure if Des is a parent, but there's nothing that your child can tell you about being 14 or 15 years old and what they're going through. You might tell them about not smoking, not drinking, not having sex. And we all know, I'm going to just say it, sex is a good thing when you are smart enough to know what you're doing.
Yes.
The physical act of it is one thing, but the emotional act is something different. The outcome of doing it ignorantly, and I mean ignorantly in the sense of unknowingly, not knowing, can be detrimental. You can have an unplanned pregnancy. You can have STD, STI. Some people, I'm going to just say it, have been physically injured from having sex because their bodies wasn't ready and their minds especially weren't ready. So it's not just about success in performing arts, but it's about life and the experience that you have as an adult. My father already knew the lessons and the games that was going to happen when I decided, and if I decided to get involved with the business of music. So again, did I feel like I guess at the time, yeah, I might have felt like he was putting me down, but now being a little older than my father was when he was telling me about these things, I see the difference and I know why.
Yeah.
So it was constructive, but it was something that kept me hungry because what it did was continue to make me work hard.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you can't say those things and a child not work hard, but I always say you learn more about fire when you get burnt than sitting back hearing about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to piggyback off of that too and answer that question because, of course, I have younger kids. And my kids, they are a range of 15, 11, and 7. So my 15-year-old has times where he think he know it all. And I'm like, you ain't even lived life yet. So how you trying to tell me?
You just got used to saying teen. You just got used to saying teen.
Exactly. Like, how are you trying to tell me something? And don't be wrong. Sometimes when I'm saying something, it can come down as very harsh. But I would rather me be the one that gives you this information and not you go out there and learn it some other way that could be the wrong way. So if it comes out a certain way, but don't get me wrong, if I feel like I'm saying something to them that is a little too much that may have brought them down, I'm going to also have that conversation after saying, let me explain why I said this. Let me explain what I'm teaching you this moment. So, and a lot of parents, like somebody told me, like, why are you explaining anything to a kid? This is why I like to explain certain things to my kids. It's not back in the day where you be like, okay, I said it, it's done.
Do as I say, do as I do, and that's that, right?
No, I don't teach like that because I want to teach my kids. I want them to know that they can come to me and know why mommy's saying this, but not only why mommy's saying this, but this is her explanation of why she said it that way. And I'm explaining to you, like, I ain't get it the let me be nice and pat you on the back type of way. No, I was told straight up, this is how it works. Or I just had experiences.
And then we got told, you don't like it. There's the world. Go live in it since you know so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And let me say that because I work with children. I work with youth and young adults. I don't know how many lives I've changed, impacted, influenced. I just know if I saved one, if I impacted one, I impacted 1,000. And I've been on this job that I'm on going on 22 years. Working in the city. Working in the city. So I was never in one building in one place. I was in the city doing this. And I have close to 40 years of working with youth, children, and young adults. And one thing that I always told them, you're going to learn your way, you're going to learn the hard way, but you will learn.
Yep.
And you're going to find yourself having a conversation. If you're 15 now, you're going to find yourself in 10 to 15, no more than 20 years, having this conversation with somebody else.
Yep.
Saying exactly what I'm telling. I used to think my father was crazy. I used to think my uncles were crazy. Until I started talking to some of these young folks. I'm like, man, it sounds like a father. You see what I'm saying? So it's all a part of the process.
Yes.
But they don't know. And who else to learn from than you? Because I say every hard lesson, I prefer you learn it from me because I at least have your best interest at heart.
Yes. Yes.
Somebody else is going to try to do something to you, get something from you, or make you feel guilty about one or the other.
Look, we can talk about parenting all day.
Hey.
It's a process.
Hey, people. When people talk about me, my oldest is 22, and they say, "Hey, you got young children." I say, "Yeah, I was actually an adult when I started having them. I was living on my own, taking care of myself, and that's kind of how it's supposed to be." I said, not then. I said, don't get me wrong. My father was a teenage parent. I know plenty of people that are very good parents that are teenage parents. I just wasn't one. That's all. I waited till I was an adult to make or have children, and that was that. So if when people say, "Are you a grandfather, grandparent yet?" No, I ain't old enough for that. I ain't old enough for that. Yeah, I mean, hold on real quick. My niece jumped on. I want to show her something. We're going to talk about this later, but I want to show her. Yeah, I'm rocking it. Stay solid. We going to talk about it. You see, I got the whole setup back there. Yeah, so we gonna get into that later. We'll get into that later.
Yes, promotion.
Yeah. Think I ain't when I am. Wait till we get to that part. We talk about opportunities. Wait till we get to that.
Yes, yes. So,
Yes.
going backwards, going back to
Mm-hmm.
acting.
Okay.
What are some? How did you like? How did you get into the roles that you were getting into, in the movies? How did all that come about?
In the movies. Um, wow. And strangely enough, I was in I was in I was in a few films, little extra parts and background parts,
Mm-hmm.
growing up, and just little stuff, music videos. Come be here, do that. Act like this, do like that. All right. But in high school, is where I did my thing with a lot of a lot of the plays again. I always
Mm-hmm.
acted in the stuff in school. But I actually went away to college. That was the last time I acted in the early 90s. So I didn't get back into acting at all until 20 years later. I didn't get back into it until
Wow.
2010 or 11. Um, and strangely enough, my first few projects back were plays.
Mm-hmm.
The second project that when I came back to acting
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to be a movie with the brother
Mm-hmm.
Clayton Prince. Everybody know him from the Cosby Show. That was Denise's boyfriend, the Jamaican,
Yeah. Yeah.
Philly native. Shout out, Kappa graduate, and he was supposed to be in a film rendition of a play that
Mm-hmm.
that was written. But what happened was some scheduling got conflicted toward shooting time, and they
Mm-hmm.
just decided to do the play version.
Okay.
So that was the first movie that I was supposed to do after 20 years. But then I did that play. I did another play, and I wound up talking to the videographer, photographer of my line brother's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And just as we were talking, it was like, yo, I'm gonna put your name. I'm gonna get some people your names. I was like, all right, cool. This was good people, so I didn't have a reason to question it. Plus,
Yeah.
I knew her. She was good people. Well, I walk into we meet downtown. I walk into a boardroom down at 8th and Market,
Mm-hmm.
and they was like, well, the main one of the main stars is not here. He's in LA. We're gonna have him on this. It was, what was it back then? It was what was the first video thing we was using real heavy? Uh, Not Uber. What was before Uber? When we used to video chat real crazy. Anybody know it? Y'all can put it up
Skype.
in the chat. Skype. Boom. There it is. See,
Oh
you
my.
dope. Two hands is better than one sometimes. So he chose it on Skype, and it's Rodney Perry. And anybody at that time, Rodney Perry was known for being the co-host of the Monique Show, a comedian, dope comedian. He had just finished working with Tyler Perry. That's my man Bird Young. What's up, V? Parkway alum. Yeah, I know Cash, bro. He only called me when he low on talent, man. You got to talk to him. Tell him to get me in early. Cash doing big things. Shout out to Cash going. So this project, Rodney Perry and I wound up playing brothers in a film called Broad Street Bully.
Okay.
And we started shooting. Like I said, I just started back to acting in 2010, 11.
Mm-hmm.
And that was on a humbug because I wasn't even trying to get back into acting. It happened because somebody asked me. And I was like, all right. And we started filming. It was like we talking. I got on my groove I groove. He talks, who that a groove I groove? I said, what you know about that, man? So just from the first conversation, we hit it off like we known each other. And here I am sitting like, yo, I like this boy. He dope. He's funny. I like boy. And we actually wound up hitting it off. We get on set, we filming. We filmed in the spring of 2012. And it was
Mm-hmm.
like a week straight. And we killing it. We kill it all over the city. And just once we had to put a pause on things for a minute because he had some business back out on the West Coast. Our
Mhm.
people had a little business, and we came back together and
Mhm.
actually finished up everything. But unfortunately, due to some business situations, the
Mhm.
movie's on the shelf, so we don't know what's gonna happen. But
It,
yeah, that was my first movie back. That was my first movie back after 20 or so years,
mhm.
and I don't even think it was 20 years by the time I did that. I think I did something in '98. Yeah, matter of fact, I did. I played a character in Tony Rome's movie in '98. But again, it was a while. So and after that, how did I get these other movies? Um,
Because you were in Fawn.
yeah, fine. Oh man, fine. I was in fine was tied in with Addyville Productions. And shout out to Addyville, Chanel Addison, Jay Hayes, Sam Anthony. Listen, these some young folks that work like old heads. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I loved it. I loved working with them. By the time we got to Fine, I think that was probably my third project with them.
Oh
We
wow.
did we did a couple other projects, and yeah. But what I think what it was I had done so many plays.
Mhm.
Um, I had done so many plays, and I think that being the one.
Mhm.
The plays get me so ready to be on set for films
Mhm.
because on films you get cut,
Mhm.
action, cut. Oh, we don't like that. Shoot it again. On
Uh-huh.
stage,
Yeah.
and again, I've only been back on in acting, back to acting 9 years, but I have close to 80 plays under my belt since returning. So
Okay.
um, having those plays, doing so many plays, make me like a one-hit wonder on set for films. The dialogue is in my head. We get the nature of the scene. We get the energy of the scene.
Mhm.
Action. I go out there and do my thing. Blah 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 blah. Boom. Cut. Dang, we like that one. Do another one for safe shot. All right. Boom. Blah 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 blah. Boom. Next shot. Different angle. Blah 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 blah. And they like, oh, head be coming in, killing this joint. You know. And I had the luxury of working with some very, very, very talented people. And a lot of these people are, this is Philly. It's a big little place.
Mhm.
So the
Mhm.
you know the cream rises to the top. And I'm not knocking anybody that's trying to get their foot in the door. That's one of the reasons why I mentor and do the coaching that I do to
Mhm.
help people attain what we're not getting. Again, now it's to the point where people send me emails or text messages. Hey man, are you available? Because we working on this project. We just gotta have you in it, or we have this part that we just think you dope for. Um,
Mhm.
so it started off as I had to go out to a couple of auditions, but
Yeah.
the word the word about TC, the word about Storm, the word about Bam started getting out. The funniest thing in the world is I was sitting amongst about 4 or 5 people that was having a conversation, and they started dying when I came up, and I was like, "What's up?" They said, "Yo, man, we was just sitting there having a conversation. We was talking. He was talking about this dude, da, da, da," and it was all the same people. All these different people was talking
Mhm.
about me, but depending on where they knew me and how they knew me, they all called
Oh,
me
wow.
by a different name. So they was like all talking about this. They like, yo, man, we got this old head that came on set. Yo, his name Bam. It's like, yeah, we had this old head came on the set. They named TC. We had this old head name on set. They call him Storm. And I walked in and they all started dying because they like, yo, they said
That's
all these
all
people
your
had
name.
these names. So you heard me when I was like slash slash slash, and I got that from Yvette Money because Yvette Money and Rick Watson because they was like, yo, this dude got so many names. We don't know what he go about this week.
Yes.
But the movies just came as a result of um, showing up to do the plays, showing up on set, on time, ready to go, bringing energy, bringing an opinion when asked, bringing being prepared and being substantive to helping be a part of the process, especially on an independent circuit.
Mhm.
There's little to no money involved. You're doing this on the love and trying to get exposure and hoping that your thing
Mhm.
hits and get picked up, and that the people want to keep you if they sell it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So just showing up and being an asset.
Yeah.
That's where I get a lot of the parts from, and being and then again just being being the nice guy that I am, like to smile and love on people. And then they're like, yeah, we need you to play a misogynist.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need you to play you're going to choke your wife out. Yeah, you're going to grab your stepdaughter and try to. But the beautiful thing is because people know my heart, they know where I'm coming from as a man and as a person. They don't they don't mind seeing me get all the way into character and then just need a minute sometimes decompress because it's technique and you
Yeah.
really have to make it believable. So I'm just fortunate. It's a blessing. It's a blessing for people to care to call.
Yeah, a couple of things I got out of what you said was your energy when you showed up, number one. Number two, um, giving your opinion when it's asked for. I think you put it like that, something like that.
Yeah, giving my opinion when asked.
Yes. Because some people don't like to do that, and I'm like, shut up, shut up. Don't say nothing. And it was something else, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But just those two were very important. And then you said another thing. I got it. Another thing was, which I didn't put it together in my head how it worked. And you said because you did stage plays and they were where you ain't have no cuts. It was like, okay, we gotta go. Versus being in film is different because you got all those cuts in between.
Yeah.
So that was like, that kind of like, oh snap, I never thought about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my head like, should I just do a stage play? Maybe that might help me better.
I'm gonna tell you, you wanna sharpen your sword, do the stage. It takes a little more time. It's it's a little more, you know, effort has to go into it.
Yeah.
But once you find your technique, once you find your niche, once you find your knack,
Mm-hmm. It's
it's
a
it's
wrap.
it's a flow. And don't get me wrong, it's not everything is not 100% perfect each and every time that you go out there. It's not because, and I say that for this circuit. I say this for the independent community circuit right now
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not getting, I'm not getting, you know, actors union money. I'm not getting actors equity money. I'm not getting playwright, stage actor union money where I'm
Mm-hmm.
rehearsing for 9 months and being paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
you know. So those things are different. What you see on Broadway, some off Broadway productions, and it's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because that's all they're doing. That's their job.
Yeah.
On this level, we have jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're doing this. So just imagine how many hours when folks are going to believe that if I'm gonna say when Lord willing, my time comes and my break comes, and they say he was an overnight success
You be like,
or he just got back. I'm
like I've been doing this.
really? Check my resume. You might want to look at
Yes.
my IMDb page, and even my resume and my IMDb page are incomplete. There's a ton of projects that haven't seen the light of day because the scripts were written, and this was before Corona. The plan just didn't work out for
Mm-hmm.
us to do those shows yet. But I have tons of scripts that we haven't even touched,
Mm-hmm.
let alone the ones we were getting ready to perform that Corona put on pause. But yeah, the stage definitely helped me for TV and for the movies because I don't need as long to memorize my lines. I don't need as long to get
Yeah.
my scene synergy. All we're really working on is chemistry amongst those of us on set.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I had the opportunity to actually see you in the play one time. And when I saw this play, I was like, I think I really like going to a play. And it
Yeah,
was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was um It was Monica's. I want to say her name
It
right.
was
Like
either the
her name is
lifestyle,
Monica,
or it was
but
either the lifestyle or Three Angry Bees.
yes.
Three
But it's
Angry Bees.
say her name. I want to make sure I'm getting it right.
Monica
Yeah.
Yvette Money Chicks.
Yes.
Yvette
I was gonna
Money.
say Monica Money. No, that's not it. Monica Yvette Money.
Yvette
Yes.
Money Chick.
When she put
Yvette
that play
Money.
on,
King
that was the
Legend,
first
baby.
play. I can't. That was the first play that I went to in Philly. I'm not sure that it's the first play I've ever went to, but
Okay.
definitely first play I've been to in years.
Okay.
And when I
So
said, first of
you was in
all,
the whole
you'll be over
makeshift,
here
the
choking
whole
me.
makeshift. We turned the ballroom into the theater.
Yes. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing
Not
wrong
at
with
all.
that.
Not at all.
So, but he over here, his character was, I think he was choking. I don't know if that was his wife, a girlfriend. I don't know who it was.
That
But
was my in that one, that was my girlfriend. That was my girlfriend.
that's the first time I saw him get violent, y'all. And I was like, he choking. But it was an excellent play. I was like, I really think I like going to a play.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to go to more and more often, but you know, COVID, I don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna honestly tell you, you picked a very good one to go to, and I'm not just saying that because it was that one, but um, what I like to say, thank God, is I can pick the work that I'm a part of,
Mm.
and there are just certain people when they call me, they already know I'm not for the status quo, I'm not for the regular rudimentary, BS stuff that just the
Mm-hmm.
same stories over and over, and it's nothing
Mm.
that comes out of it.
Mm.
Again, even that character had layers to him.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, that character was a successful construction magnate. He had money. He took care of her. He did all this and that, and
Used it though.
he just snapped. And it was like, oh my God. So, um, just those opportunities to be called for something like that. And then you saw the other people that I was with. We was with Kango. We was with his wife Tahiri. We had Ray Bolden. We had Danny Angelique.
Mm-hmm.
I think Shereen Nelson. Oh my God, we had so many. Charvez Grant. We just listen. We was dope that night.
Yeah.
We was dope that night,
It was
and
really, really
the
good play. I was like,
crowd,
I really like this play.
the crowd was taken. We were like, wow.
So getting into opportunities now, building relationships and
Mm-hmm.
building opportunities. So what are some relationships you have built that led you to great opportunities?
Uh, Yvette Money.
Mm-hmm.
We started off as, again, she was somebody that I looked up to from the music aspect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but her experience in the music business and my experience in the music business were very different, polar opposites.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she was a teenager, I was a teenager. She was doing it, she did it for the love of the music. And in Philly at that time, that's what it was. It was really about the love of the love of the music,
Mm-hmm.
and being out there performing and having fun. I was a teenager, but I learned it from a business acumen, a business
Mm-hmm.
side from my father, my
Yeah.
parent. You know, he didn't want to manage me as a rapper because I wasn't singing. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I had to learn this business on my own. And what I learned was eye opening. So watching her as a teen, and then actually working with her on plays later on when I came back, I was working with her within a year of returning
Mm-hmm.
to acting. And she actually gave me uh pretty much my first opportunity on stage
Mm-hmm.
of being a lead, a principal, a focal character
Mm-hmm.
um, on stage. And that's not counting the first people that called me, when I first came back,
Mm-hmm.
but because I did have lead roles in those plays also. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just the idea of how I was being used was different.
Mm.
And the first thing she said is, "There's no reason that you shouldn't be out front."
I agree with her.
She said, "There's no reason that you shouldn't be out front." She said, "You are a lead. You're a leading. She like you are a lead. You're a leading man." She
Mm-hmm.
says, "I'm writing this play. And I know you don't like to cuss a lot, this, that, and the third, but we can work on the script. But I didn't, you know." She like, "I just heard this voice, and I heard your voice coming out of this guy." So I was like, "Okay." So Yvette Money, Rick Watson. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows Rick Watson, South Philly.
Yes, shout out to Rick.
You know, stage play, stage writer, you know, movie writer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he gave me opportunities. He was one of the first people also to put me back on stage and make me not worry about singing on
Mm-hmm.
stage in a play.
Yes.
So I tell people, singing at a karaoke or singing in a concert or at church is just different on stage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he had me sing on stage in one of the plays he had me in, and apparently I did the doggone thing because my castmate was crying, and I'm thinking it was from
Aw.
the time of the play. She was like, "Bro," she said, "you just sang that thing, so it just hit different," you know. Um, and in those relationships, different different people that I performed with that I still
Mm-hmm.
have strong relationships and good relationships with now. I always say I thank Rick for the opportunities that he gave me because it taught me how to move into directing, how to move into having your affairs in order,
Mm-hmm.
um, how to manage your time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think, like I said, I thank Yvette Money for putting me in a position to be out front
Mm-hmm.
when it came to stage,
Mm-hmm.
when it came to the stage and being a lead male on stage. Um, I mean, it's countless people. Let me see. Miss Lynn Galloway, that was the person that she was a former coworker that called me back. She's the person that called me back to
Mm-hmm.
acting. Um, Lynn Galloway, Michelle Cherie. Um,
Mm-hmm.
she was doing a lot of ministerial plays, Christian based plays. Um, John Graves,
Mm-hmm.
man, John Graves. I've done a couple productions with John Graves, and that is a talented
Mm-hmm.
fool. That brother, that brother,
Was he one of
John
the guys that's in the
Graves.
movie? Was he? Was he? Has he ever? Or maybe
No,
he's
he
just
wasn't in the movie, but John Graves is almost single handedly one of the most business minded, talented, under 40, opportunity given actor, singer, making. This brother got so much talent in his pinky. You
yeah.
know, he's a writer, singer, dancer, choreographer, arranger,
Yeah.
business person. He's a doctor, got a doctorate. This boy is bad. Um, And I think it's like he's one of the ones he knows when to call me. I don't get the call every time, but he knows when to call because he's like, "Yo, this your part." He said, "I need you for this." So and just countless others. There's just so many people that put me in a different mindset because I was always business oriented. And I've
Mm-hmm.
always I've always always said that it ain't about what you know or who you know. It's about who knows you.
Mm-hmm.
Is your name being spoken when you're not in the room? Because it's easy to people to talk about you when you're there. Are they talking about you when you're not around? And what are they saying?
Yes.
You know. So just countless, countless. And I've had the opportunity to perform with so many people that I revered. Tony Terry, John Canada Terrell, T-Boz, who else we had on stage? Sean Blakemore, uh, Darren Ensign. I didn't listen, man. We can go on, and it's funny because I get to tell people, yeah, I work with these people, and
Mm-hmm.
when they compliment, you
Mm-hmm.
on your work, and it's unsolicited, that means you're doing something right. You're doing a good thing. Doing a good thing. Because you know, some A-listers, B-listers, when they done, they gone. Okay,
Yeah,
bye. Even
yeah.
if that's even if they say bye. But here I have people that want to, you know, shake my hand, give me a hug, take pictures. Here, come on, let's take a picture, big guy. You came and you did your thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just those things they mean a lot. And it's a lot of people that I work with now that don't get a lot of recognition that are
Mm-hmm.
going to be major, major, major.
Okay. Because I was it always I think I asked one of the girls who's an actor, her name is Jacinth. You know who Jacinth is.
Yeah, just said
Yeah.
that's my yeah, they crush. Yeah.
Yeah. I asked her during our interview, um, like why basically kind of like why do you because y'all are such good actors, great actors, um, why haven't it been to the point where we can start seeing you in big screen movies? What is that process like to really get
Okay.
someone to that status of actually? Well, nowadays, now,
Hmm.
come on, we got people on Netflix. We got Coleman made some blessings pop up.
Hmm.
You got Amazon Prime, and I feel like there's levels to it to a point
Hmm.
where you start building so much where you start actually getting to the level. I don't know everything now.
Right, right, right.
But I feel like I've seen so many great actors that I'm like, I would love to see them in the movie theaters. I don't know how that's going right now. I
Hmm.
heard some
Hmm.
of them open, but I don't know.
Hmm.
Like and stuff like that, especially when you see someone so much talent. It's like that's where I want to see you. That's where I want you to be. So
Hmm.
everybody else can see what I see,
Right,
and that's greatness.
right, right.
So what
Okay.
is that
One,
challenge?
one,
How can
one.
you
Well, one, you have bias because you're close to us. So we don't. I don't think if we was whack, you would really tell us out as outwardly as you tell us how good we are. But that's just me. That's just me talking. That's just me
now
talking.
now if
Hmm.
you weren't that good, trust me. Now I'm the type of person where I definitely give great compliments. I'll give somebody compliments all day. But when I give a compliment, it's because I genuinely believe it.
Okay.
Now, if I don't believe it, I'll be like, "Do you want me to tell you the truth or not?
Right. You give the
You want
short version.
like
I got you.
how you want it?"
Okay.
So
Okay.
I have told people like, "Look, this is what you need to work on. That's not right." I've said it, and some people
Yeah.
like, "Why you say it like that?" Like when it comes like with your kids, why you say it like that? I, I don't have no other way to say it.
Because I tell folks, you know, you have to look at these things um from a spectator point of view,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like if I'm a spectator and I wasn't, you know, you know what I mean? It's about a four, and that was being generous, but you know, you got room to improve. But again, a lot of people don't want to hear that. They don't want to accept the truth. But getting back to your original piece, that question, it's the business. It's
Mm-hmm.
a business. So just like basketball, we know and we've seen there are basketball players that could run circles around dudes in the pros.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't
Mm-hmm.
they in the pros? Because there's a level of uh, visibility, exposure, and uh, networking
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
comes with it. The players that go to the best colleges in the world usually went to the best AAU camps, usually went to the best Under Armour, Nike, Adidas, Reebok basketball camps.
Mm-hmm.
It costs to go to the league.
Mm-hmm.
By the time people get to college, there are very, very few players that get to college on an elite level, especially now, that haven't been a part of somebody's AAU or camp
Mm-hmm.
um, prior to getting to college
Mm-hmm.
and going from college to the pros. Again, as good as a whole lot of thousands and thousands of players are in college, everybody
Mm-hmm.
doesn't get to go to the pros. And there are some that get to the pros and it doesn't work out. It's a
Mm-hmm.
business. So same thing with acting and with performing. There's
Mm-hmm.
a networking aspect. For me personally, I can't speak for anybody else. For me personally, my biggest setback right now is that I'm not with an agency.
Mm,
And
mm,
years ago, and it just came up on my timeline yesterday. It was funny because my birthday was yesterday, and on my timeline, it came
Happy
it
birthday.
came. Thank you. It brought back one of my posts in my memories about just signing to an agency, and I had
Mm,
signed on with an agency some years ago, and because they were working through some things,
mm-hmm,
um, and they were more of a modeling agency. They
mm-hmm,
didn't really carry acting as much acting talent.
mm-hmm,
They were primarily doing models,
mm-hmm.
and don't get me wrong, and they were wonderful to me. I'm not even going to lie to you; they were wonderful to me, and they
Mm-hmm.
sold me on saying, "They said, oh my goodness, we don't have anybody that that looks like you. We need somebody that look." So I'm looking through the photographs and looking through the catalog, and I see a couple people that I knew. And the
Oh,
funniest thing was, you're right. You don't have a big black fair skinned guy with a mole on his nose that's 6'2", 4 feet wide, built like a linebacker that is acting, singing, rapping, doing poetry. You
doing
right.
everything.
You don't have anybody that looks like me. But they were doing some revamping. So I had a non-exclusive, with them. But they were doing some revamping and getting some things put back together. And it just just time passed. It didn't work out. And there was another agency that was associated with John Casablanca. So when I
Mm-hmm.
went for the evaluation at John Casablanca, they was like, "Oh, you agency ready?" They didn't know that I'd already been was previously signed with anybody. They was like, "Yeah, you agency ready." So go to this, call this number, go to this place, and yada yada yada, boom. And that experience was a little different because I was quite disappointed with the headshots that this place took and
Mm-hmm.
the money that I spent for these headshots because I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I got three photographers that cost a fraction of what I just spent that took way better pictures that made me feel way more comfortable. I said they could have probably came in here and took the same picture and gave it some pizzazz, some jazz, some pop. But
Mm-hmm.
I think I was ordering from the no side of the menu, so to speak, because again I was going non-exclusive
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to see because my thing is I'm not 17 years old. I don't have no sponsors. I don't have anybody paying for me. I have children. I'm a family man. I'm trying to do this as a conduit to get to the next level of doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I think they tried to sell me a bridge down South Philly, man. I'm like, but again, the lady that headed up the place, she was wonderful. She never said anything crazy, did anything that I felt was slick or underhanded. I didn't feel like it was one of those situations where people feel like they're being scammed. I didn't feel like it was a scam at all. I just felt like because everything wasn't necessarily explained as
Mm-hmm.
clearly as I would have liked it to have been.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened intently, and the fact that they loved me, even the people in my group
Mm-hmm.
that was being evaluated and trying to sign on, they was like, "Yo, you a shoe in, dog. You got," but it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And at the time, for the stuff that was available for me in my situation, I couldn't I couldn't I couldn't go to Pittsburgh uh every other weekend to film.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't go to West Virginia, every other weekend to film. The situation wasn't set up for me to be able to do that like that.
Yeah.
But those are the different things of why it takes because these were programs and network programs um, that they were filming for that were
Mm-hmm.
filming outside of the Delaware Valley, and um, I started going to workshops.
Okay.
But when I went to workshops, one of my workshops was in New York. A couple of them was in New York, and again, the people love me. They're
Hey
like, "Man,
everybody,
we
thank you for watching When Models Talk with Stormy. Now check out part 2 with Stormy on When Models Talk.